And so who knows, Matt? They can't farm anymore. Exactly. Israel just broke the ceasefire. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'd have to wait and see. I probably wouldn't just immediately, conclude that that's true based off of like something that people say in like 1 second. People saying Israel broke ceasefire. Israel ceasefire broke. Is this real? 2 hours ago. Yeah, already in Israel enough. They broke ceasefire just after it started. Something like this happens again. We're going to have to pay for it on their behalf. We should stop. Started. Israel already broke the ceasefire. In my opinion, this is what I would. Is this Israel's doing what they've always done, still bombing Gaza?
Getting all the stream channels up. All right. I'm entertaining myself. I'm distracted. Hey, Jay! This cover never ends. Yep. Yep. We've only just begun. We got most of the human characters done, which I'm pretty content with. I really like these highlights I added. I was having a hard time having each of the characters pop, and even though my other covers, actually I do have some highlights in the other ones. These highlights really helped. It's been at least a week, but to be fair, I haven't been here. I was at a 21 Pilots concert last night, and the day I took some youngins out into the mountains, which took most of the day. Tomorrow I will have hopefully the whole day to cook, and Lord willing, this cover will be done, and maybe even the back cover. No promises on that. I'm hoping to do Whoppy on the back cover. I think that'd be a good one. I think that'd be good. I think Whoppy's a good addition. Since he's kind of like an unseen but important element to the story, I think it's good to prioritize him early on. I heard a banger song. Oh my gosh.
Searching for the answer in the moments I'm afraid. There's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. And I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. That's right, yeah. We'll see the sun.
Tomorrow!
Ah! Nothing back.
It is tomorrow, isn't it? Oh no!
Run from the fight. Come on and follow the light.
I totally lost track of what day it was. My life's a blur.
Come on and follow the light.
I got some work to do.
Thing that I know, I'm nothing but a man with the heart of a lion and the spirit of a lamb. Every battle that I've won, every giant that I've faced, I have never been alone, even on my darkest day. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
Thank you, Jay. Actually, it was legitimately helpful. I would have been embarrassed to have missed another day.
Nothing back. When the shadows come, we won't run from the fight. So come on and follow the light. Come on and
No, it would not have been funny. It would have been tragic.
follow the light. Step forward with faith, letting go is all it takes. Running with the one who hears your voice and makes the mountain shake. When you can't see the road, there's a fire in your soul. Trust and let it guide you anywhere you go. You gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rush
Didn't bug me, but I'm not like.
into the wild. We'll see the sunrise out of the ash. 'Cause we put nothing back. When the shadows come, we won't run from the fight. Come on and follow the light.
I just want to get back to the comic. I actually love working on the comic. It's just this cover is just a render fest. I have to remember that these characters are going to be pretty small on the cover and no one's going to look that hard, so. Banger. Great song. 10 out of 10. You gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Hello, Max. Hello, Noon. Hello. Sorry, guys. Ooh. Good to see y'all. I was on the YouTube chat and I wasn't paying attention. This song is great. I can't believe it only has 48,000 views. It's a banger. It's beautiful.
This line I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind.
Max, no one. Hey guys, are you still here? Follow the light. Follow the light.
Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. That's right, yeah.
Oh, it's you. Sorry. I forget whose name is who.
As we hold nothing back, when the shadows come, we won't run from the fight.
Follow the light.
Follow the light. If there's one thing that I know, I'm nothing but a man with the heart of a lion and the spirit of a lamb. Every battle that I've won, every giant that I've faced, I have never been alone, even on my darkest.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll have to get them Sunday. Your rocks.
Feeling alive. You gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. We'll see the sunrise out of the ash as we hold nothing back. When the shadows come, we won't run from the fight.
Come on and follow the light. You'll be okay for a couple days without your rocks, okay? You'll get. That's a couple days. You'll have to be strong. They're not gone. You just hold on. Be strong.
There's a fire in your soul. Trust and let it guide you anywhere you go. You gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. We'll see the sunrise out of the ash as we hold nothing back. When the shadows come, we won't run from the fight. So come on and follow the light. Come on and follow.
It's a yes. I agree. I don't know what the deal is with the YouTube delay. I gotta get these. I'm not sure what to do about it. I don't know what to do about it. Ooh. And all I get from Kick is like bots. Come on, Kick, be better. I came over here in good faith, looking to. I know Jay, but you never know. My thoughts with Kick is that here are my thoughts, Jay. My thoughts with Kick is it's, I think, a fairly small pond, and I am a bit of a firm believer in the idea of being a big fish in a little pond. But the pond may be the wrong pond is a fair point. Maybe I'm swimming in the wrong pond. You are fair. It's a fair point. I think I have one follower on Kick right now, and I don't know if that's valid or not. It could be like a bot. It's just a platform that does have like some, like it's a part of the menu for streaming. You could stick your stuff on there. My principle was that put it on everything, including Rumble, but I don't know how to do Rumble, so I will put myself everywhere and hopefully find some stragglers in every pocket of the internet. But it's not that easy, and it's not like people just stumble upon things. One thing I did do recently, which I need to do with YouTube, which I don't think I've done. I don't think I've done any hashtags or like how do I like custom? I'm trying to think. Can I like in some, like with Twitch, I tag for a couple things, and on I think Kick I did a little bit. I did a like related to. All right. Yeah, I don't know how to tag anything. Hello, Kanga. Hey. Howdy. We're gonna listen to this song again. I don't care. And then maybe I'll go to like back to some Twilight Pilots.
This line I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. That's right, yeah. We'll see the sunrise out of the ash as we hold nothing back. When the shadows
I know I can get. Oh, a Thanksgiving, you say?
come on and follow the light.
Well, I look forward to seeing what it is. I like receiving things.
One thing that I know, I'm nothing but a man with the heart of a lion and the spirit of a lamb. Every battle that I've won, every giant that I've faced, I have never been alone, even on my darkest day. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light.
Wow, Jay. Wow. You did have that tonight. Come on and follow the light. Come on and follow the light.
Come on and follow. Come on and follow the light. Ooh, come on and follow the light.
That song's great. I'm gonna put it in my worship playlist. Yeah. Oh, I thought this was Follow the Light. Oh, this is the whole thing. That's cool. I'm gonna listen to this whole album. I'm gonna listen to it. We'll see what the whole blues about. I love that one Follow the Light song, so I'm here for it. But I'm not gonna add this to my worship playlist. Oh, this is Sight and Sound Theaters? Oh! This is not what I thought it was. Ooh. I need to go to Sight and Sound Theaters. Like a loser. Okay, carrying on. I can't afford to take too long.
When I see the stars, they take my breath away. You spread the heavens wide, a holy tapestry. So I will join the song as creation sings to you. As the deer needs water, so my soul longs after you. As the bird takes flight, your wind carries me through. So I will join the song as creation sings to you. As creation sings to you.
This is tough.
You poured the oceans deep and filled them up with life. You carved the rolling hills, built the mountains to the sky. So I will join the song as creation sings to you.
I'm going to switch. I hate it here. Take my breath away, and
like the heavens wide. I was wonderfully made, knit in my mother's womb. You have written all
This is so hard.
so I will join the song as creation sings your praise.
It is hard. I'm trying. It's hard.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want anything but you. For all my days, your goodness and mercy follow me, and I will dwell in your house. Pastures, you make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside the still waters, and there you restore my life. Comfort, your rod and your staff are my comfort. I'll honor your name with my whole heart and stay on the righteous path. I am after your heart. I am after your heart. Hey! Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not fear, for you are always with me. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not fear, for you are always with me. Oh, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want anything but you. For all my days, goodness and mercy follow me, and I will dwell in your house
What a banger.
I am after your heart. I am after your heart.
That was that was beautiful. Very pretty. Very pretty. In this show, well, I'm gonna take a peek at it.
If he was supposed to be healed, God would have done it himself. Interesting point.
We will have no choice but to follow the law of Moses.
I am the law of Moses.
We can't even
This is doom.
Started.
all the secretions of heresy will be purged from this sacred place. I and the Father are one. He is no heretic. We just saw him do a miracle.
Ah, yes. Nazarene, I just spoke to a man who claims you healed his blindness. Today. On Shabbat. Is there a question coming? I was told you put mud on his eyes. Where did you get mud knowing you're not supposed to make healing concoctions on Shabbat? It was easy. I just spit on the dirt. What? You touched his face with fit cleanliness. That's what your folks claim to be, Rabbi. To be the Son of God. And you don't honor purity laws even on the most sacred day of the week. You Pharisees. You cleanse the outside of a cup and the dish, and then you eat and drink food that goes into a body that inside is full of greed and wickedness. You fools! Did not he who made the outside make the inside also? But give us all those things that are within whole. Everything is clean for you. You say giving alms is more important than being ritually clean. That your obsession with what is clean and unclean goes farther than God intended and does no good for anybody. Joseph, we tithe everything so the poor can benefit, down to the smallest plants grown in our gardens. To that I say, woe to you Pharisees! You tithe mint and dill and cumin, measuring carefully the last speck, while neglecting what is actually important of the law: justice and mercy and faithfulness. You blind guides, straining out an gnat while swallowing a camel. Look at these people. What have you done to help them? We have taught them how to observe God's perfect law, while you actively defy and beg and encourage others to deviate from it. All of you, this man is dangerous. He's leading you astray. His words bring hope and healing. His words are blasphemous. Heretical. I say, woe to you, Pharisees, for you love the best seat in the synagogues and greetings in the marketplaces. Right now, we can't hear insulting words. So I am just getting started.
Excuse me. What are you doing? What is your name?
Elam. Your friend Elam has a withered hand.
Are you a healer? It is not lawful to heal on Sabbath.
Which one of you who has a sheep and it falls into a pit on the Sabbath will not take hold of it and lift it
Who
out?
are you to speak to our congregation in such a
Of
way?
how much more value is this man than a sheep?
Stop this at once.
Come here. Come stand here. It's okay.
Elam, sit down. We don't know this person. He could be a shark.
Is it lawful on Sabbath to do good or to do harm? To save life or to kill?
This affliction does not threaten his life. It does not even affect his health.
Lift it up. Stretch it out. It's good, huh?
If he was supposed to be healed, God would have done it himself.
Interesting point.
Get out.
Gladly.
Blasphemer! What is wrong with you?
Apparently everything.
Wait! Come back! What? Out of the way.
you not read what David did when he was in need, was hungry? He entered the house of God in a time of Ahimelech, the priest, and ate the bread of the presence, which was not lawful for him to eat, but only for the priests.
You would compare yourself to David. It was an emergency.
Or have you not read in the law how on Shabbat the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath?
Commander Wolf, thank you. Hey.
Still idiots? Listen carefully. Something greater than the temple is here. And if you had known what this
As you can see, I continue to render
not sacrifice,
in infinitum.
you would not have condemned the guiltless. Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So, the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath. The Son of Man. Let's go.
Thank you, thank you. We keep at it. One brushstroke at a time. One thing I really liked, as I was bragging on myself earlier, is these highlights. I was having a hard time getting Tiller to pop in front of Shad, and I didn't want to darken Shadrach any further because it was getting hard to see him. But with the highlight, I can make him pop without that.
Whom do you teach?
So this again. Thank you, thank you.
I think we're going somewhere. We're on to something good here. Out of mind, out of state. Trying to keep my head on straight. I think we're going somewhere. To something good here. We know what to do. We're happy with you. Somewhere back there, I left my worries all behind. Problems fell out of the back of my mind. Never knowing where we're going. To go back to where I was, just be wrong. I'm pressing on. But it's pressing, going on. Pressing on. Won't sit back, take this anymore. Done with that, one through that door. Like where I was, just be wrong. I'm pressing on, going somewhere. Onto something good here. Out of mind, out of state. Trying to keep my head on straight. Going somewhere, we're onto something good here. Where this is going, you have found it. Somewhere back there, I left my worries all behind. Problems fell out of the back of my mind. Coming in and never knowing where we're going. Just be wrong. I'm pressing on. When it's rushing, going on. Pressing on. Won't sit back, take this anymore. Done with that, I'm not the door. Go back to where I was, just be wrong. I'm pressing on. Go back to where I was, just be wrong. I'm pressing on. I'm pressing on. Don't sit back, take this anymore. Done with that, one foot at the door. Go back to where I was, just be wrong. Pressing on. On me, don't look down on me. Feel the love you have for going somewhere. To something good here. We're gonna make it after all. I think we're going somewhere. We're onto something good here.
I kind of ruined the next song, Be My Escape. I love Be My Escape, but it was used to be my alarm clock, and now I can't hear it without, like, being triggered. Reliant K pops off, though. I haven't heard this song in forever. Sadie Hawkins Dance. We used to sing this all the time in high school.
All the girls in the bathroom talking. Who they gonna take to the Sadie Hawkins? My ears are burning, but I kept on walking. Smile on my face and an air guitar rocking. The Sadie Hawkins dance and my khaki pants. There's nothing better. Oh, oh, oh. Girls ask the guys, it's always a surprise. There's nothing better, baby. Do you like my sweater? Sitting in the back of my next class napping. Gotta give a speech, then bow to the clapping. Told a funny joke, got the whole class laughing. Think I got a tan from the light which I was basking. The Sadie Hawkins dance and my khaki pants. There's nothing better. Oh, oh, oh. Girls ask the guys, it's always a surprise. There's nothing better, baby. Do you like my sweater? Scan the cafeteria for some good seating. I found a good spot by the cheerleaders eating. The quarterback asked me if I'd like a beating. I said that's one thing I won't be needing. Since I'm rather smart and cunning, I took off down the next hall running. Only to get stopped by a girl so stunning. Only to get stopped by a girl so stunning. She said you're smooth
And go with talking. You go with me to Sadie Hawkins. Hawkins dance and my khaki pants. Something better. Girls ask the guy, it's always a surprise. Something better, baby. Do you like a sweater? Hawkins dance and my khaki pants. Something better.
This is so hard.
Do you like my sweater?
Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants. There's nothing better. Oh, oh, oh.
I watch the proverbial sunrise coming up over the Pacific end. You might think I'm losing my mind, but I will shy away from the specifics. 'Cause I don't want you to know where I am. 'Cause then you'll see my heart in the saddest state it's ever been. This is no place to try and live my life. Stop right there, that's exactly where I lost it. See that moment where I never should have crossed it. Stop right there where I never should have said that. It's the very moment that I
No! I'm an idiot. I'm doing this all the wrong way.
See that line? I never should have crossed it. Stop right there. I never should have said that. It's the very moment that I wish that I could take back. Stop right there. That's exactly where I lost it. See that line? I never should have crossed it. Stop right there. I never should have said that. It's the very moment that I wish that I could take back. I'm sorry for the person I became. I'm sorry that it took so long for me to change. I'm ready to show I never become that way again. 'Cause who I am makes who I've been. Who I am makes who I've been. Who I am makes who I've been. And who I am will take the second chance you gave me. Who I am makes who I've been. 'Cause who I've been all you ever made me. So sorry for the person I became. Christians, we're all afraid of fire. We prefer to succumb pacifiers. Being pacifists, we'll throw it fits. Don't shake hands, we shake our fists. Cannibals, we watch our brothers fall. We eat our own bones and all. But we fall asleep on the plane to wait to see we're going down in flames. Down in flames. We're going down, down, down in flames. We're going down in drown, drown, drown insane. We see the problem and the risk, but nothing's solved. We just say disc, 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 and shame, shame, shame. But we fell asleep on the plane to wait to see we're going down in flames. Down in flames. Let's go! Christians, being born a thorn is stuck in the side of the body. Watch it self-destruct. The enemy is much ignored when we fight this Christian civil war. Cannibals, watch our brothers fall. We eat our own bones and all. Finally fell asleep on the plane to wait to see we're going down in flames. Down in flames. We're going down, down, down in flames. We're going down in drown, drown, drown insane. We see the problem and the risk, but nothing's solved. We just say disc, 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 and shame, shame, shame. Finally fell asleep on the plane to wait to see we're going down in flames. Down in flames.
I'm starting this over because I wasn't listening to the lyrics. It's been a long time since I heard the song.
Christians, we're all afraid of fire. We prefer to succumb pacifiers. Being pacifists, we'll throw it fits. Don't shake hands, we shake our
I keep not listening to the lyrics. Oh well. I'm just up.
Christians, people in the thorn is stuck in the side of the body, watch yourself destruct. Enemy is much ignored when we fight this Christian civil war. Cannibals, watch your progress fall. We eat our own, the bones and all. Finally fell asleep on the plane. Too late to see we're going down in flames. Down in flames. We're going down, down, down in flames.
Going down in flames.
See the problem
And the risk of this only just say this, and shame.
Finally fell asleep on
On the plane, you can see we're going down in flames. Down in flames.
I'm not liking this. It's too much. It's too much. I'm getting overwhelmed with drums. Oh my gosh. There's been so much music to listen to. I am simply overwhelmed. Let's go back to K-pop Demon Hunters. Like the music, the content has been crazy. Hello, no one. I might have heard one of the songs from Lovejoy. I don't know about the new another song to add. Do you have a favorite one from Lovejoy that you would recommend? What's the song? What's the best song of the album? Alright, I'm gonna take a pause on Ohanji. Pause. Baptism. Interesting title. Have I listened to Baptism? I might have listened to Baptism. We could be free. We can't fix it if we never face it. The past be the past, and sleepless. Crap, how you do this? How you do this? Oh my gosh, I'm having it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, hope only hurts, so I just forget it. But you're breaking through all the dark in me when I thought that nobody could. And you're waking up all these parts of me that I thought were buried for God. Between imposter and this monster, I've been lost inside my head. Ain't no choice when all these voices keep me pointing towards nowhere. It's just easy when I'm with you. No one sees me the way you do. I don't trust it, but I want to. I keep coming back to. Why does it feel like every time I let you in? Why does it feel like I can tell you anything? We can't fix it if we never face it. What if we find a way to escape it? We could be free. We can't fix it if we never face it. Let the past be the past and let's wait.
Kit? Squid Games. Color tracksuits. This is my, Bighorn Mountains hoodie. Isn't that fun? So I got this right in the middle of the Bighorn Mountains, so straight from a trail, what do you call it? A outpost in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty cool. Free. That was tough because I both wanted to hear that song all the way through, but I also it was very long and I wanted to get to the next song. Alright, let's see what this baptism song is. Only 89,000. Thank you. I'm keeping at it. Endless rendering. I still can't believe how very much they canceled Wilbert over, like, not much. People are crazy, man. I will not play games if I have anybody who's participating in active cancellation over whatever the current mob thing is in my community. I will be shutting it down, or at least saying something of like, maybe we don't do that here. Because I honestly think the reason this happened is because I honestly think this community, the Dream SMB community, not only pandered to that kind of cancelization and validating mob opinions. You create what you court. You have to adhere to what you court, and if you're going to humor toxic, presumed guilt behavior, don't assume you will be safe. It will come back to you. And until someone, there's very little I would validate in regards to canceling anyone. And I say that about literally anybody. There are several people I don't like on the internet that I don't really would not want to participate in any, like mob cancelization. I think trying to ruin someone's life, unless it's something legally or blatant, like horrifically wrong. Yeah. Anyway, I just listen to the song. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what you're saying is horrendous if you're thinking the results of the trial are horrendous. Kit, on that note, to keep it vague, for the most part, unless there's a blatant proof of bias from the jury, Kit, you say the crime and the results. I do agree that there are certain things that's like, really, that's it. Some stuff is like obviously undeniably what it is. But you know what? Do you know how much I see of that every freaking day? Have you been paying attention to the news? And it's not just him. It's not just him because he's wealthy. There is such a zero care about violent crime right now. It is like, every day I am seeing some horrific thing that has been like a little slap on the wrist. Who was it recently? Some guy went to some stranger's home and stabbed a young child in the head like 13 times, brutally murdered this child, did not know the kid, attacked the family, injured the father for defending it, and he got off with like 8 freaking years for good behavior? Are you freaking kidding me? And that's not even it. They recently let that They did the same thing with the guy who tried to murder Steve Scalise. They let him off. Again, these guys, holy crap. Like, just a couple years? Like, not a lifetime sentence? And of course, we all know the recent Irina stabbing. That guy had been arrested like 14 times. And there was another story of a guy who had been arrested 33 times and he murders. I saw a story today of a guy who had been arrested for attempted murder like 13 days before he actually murdered someone, and they keep letting them the heck go. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of it. I'm like, why? After like number 10, maybe stop letting them go. Like, what the heck is the purpose of, like, do you think it's just gonna magically stop this time? Anyway. Anyway, on the note of going light on clearly horrible crimes, it seems to be the trend as of late. I'll tell you why I think this. And by the way, I'm not canceling anybody. I'm just talking about this, what's led us to this horrible point where violent murderers are let loose with like, for like, it's crazy. It's crazy. My take is that go to any, please be safe. Oh, I don't go very far. I'm not going to, obviously there's certain places you can avoid for the most part. It's not like we're all in danger, okay? You can kind of know where to go, but we shouldn't live in a country where you go down the wrong street or get on the wrong bus. But heck, that kid who was murdered was just in his home. So, and it was just a stranger. Obviously we're not all in danger of random strangers coming to murder us, but here's what I think is the reason for this. Here's my take. Even though I am very big on, we should be the worst thing that can happen is you don't want to presume guilt. That's obviously the best thing about our justice system is that people do have a fair trial. And I honestly, like, if the court, obviously you can be manipulated, and there's been several court cases I thought didn't go how they should have, or they did go how they should have. I've been really relieved for some court cases, but I think that is good. I think if you get to a jury, that's fine. But what happens is these judges, it's not the court, it's not a trial of peers, a jury. It wasn't the jury that lets these guys out. My sister was on a jury a couple of years ago, and she told me this guy they were addressing and going to court over had like done this crime over and over his entire life, and she was like sitting there like, and no one even had to think about it. It's like, yeah, he should be in jail. Like, but we have to go to court and go through like 2 weeks of sentencing for this guy who just does nothing but commit crimes over and over and over again. What I was going to say was, I think the reason why we've gotten to this point that seems so stupid, and when I say stupid, I don't mean the court in the trial is stupid. I obviously love that. I think it's one of the best things about America is our court of law. It's when it's when the cops arrest people and then they get let off, no bail needed, over and over and over again. And I think the reason for that is because of this weird anti-policing mentality. You go to any bookstore and go to like the social commentary section, and you'll have books like Why Cops Aren't Needed and Why Every Crime is a because of society and all this. And the whole thing is about how if we just stopped policing crime, it would stop, right? The problem isn't that crime exists. It's that we're policing it, which is blatantly false. It's so obviously false, but people like their mind games. They like be clever. It's like, oh, the problem is that we're policing things. Looking over at Bukele off in, Argentina. Oh, wow, it turns out when you arrest the criminals, crime drops by like 1 bajillion% and people can live peaceably again. It's almost like there's a causation and correlation to that. Anyway. I just think we all got a little insane about blaming society for people's bad behavior, and we forgot that you still have to punish bad behavior or it will continue no matter what. Even if you can get mad, you can blame society forever and ever and ever, and maybe you're kind of right, but the results won't change. The results will still be bad if you just blame society. Anyway, I don't know how long it'll take. And there was recently a father, I watched him go out before the court. His daughter was randomly murdered as well in her bed. Well, actually, she was pulled out of her bed and shot in the back of the head. And the guy had been arrested like 20, 30 times And his father was just, like, furious that, like, this man was allowed to walk. Again, it's story after story. It's not like these are, like, every once in a while stories. They're, like, daily horror stories of these just releases and murders. Crazy. And again, it's not the police. It's not, and well, that's really been annoying. I saw after the Irina stabbing, I'm sure you watched that, with her being stabbed on the bus for no reason. And, like, the police chief or the governor was like, well, we need to improve our policing. Dude, the police did their job. He was arrested, like, 14 times. It's clearly a problem of the insta release. They keep catching them and keep letting them go. Do something with the guys you catch, please. If they're a menace, you can't just say they're insane and let them go. We don't want insane people roaming the streets. I think that's kind of a thing. There's this idea of, like, if a person is mentally unwell, I guess they're society's problem. Darn the consequences of that. You got me. Kit, you made a mistake. You brought up crime and punishment, and that has been right in my face lately, for obvious reasons. This is your fault. And honestly, on that note, I love my soapboxes. On that note, I'm gonna be real. Maybe I'm going to give I don't think it's a hot take, but it'll be a take that people don't like. This is going to sound crazy. Aside from the things that we saw that were pretty abusive, listen, I care a little bit less about that celebrity because at least he went to trial and it was a court of his peers. They were convinced that it must not have been worth that much. It's hard to believe, but also maybe they heard something that made them feel differently. I don't know. Whatever the reason, at least he went to trial. What bothers me more so is that they don't go to trial and they just get let loose. At least I would rather a court let a guy slide and go through the full process than not do the process. So people are all up in arms about Diddy. I'm sitting here like, are we going to ignore the murders that are currently, like, happening by people who... I'm not saying people who murder don't have a trial, but a lot of them have had a reoccurring violent attempted murders that are overlooked. So at some point, you're allowed to notice a pattern after, like, number 30. Okay. I remember I watched a video many years ago that was, like, criticizing, I know it was a book, I think. There was a book criticizing the results of, like, the 3 strikes you're out plan. And I wish I could read it now, because I read it back in the day when I didn't quite know how to understand what I was being told, if that makes sense, and you just take things at face value. And I think I did. And now looking back, I wonder if I should have, if I had gone about with any understanding of how crime is handled, or how people perceive it, or the results of things, and what you get and give and take, whether it would have the same results with me, or if it would, if I would think about it differently now. I'm not sure. Well, if it's true, it's true, of course, but I feel like I just didn't understand it. On that note, I'm going to give a really hot take, since we're in the mood. Thanks for coming to Tiffany's Talk. I don't even know if you're still here to hear me ramble. Okay. I was discussing this a little with one of my youngins in the car. Jose, who was in the car with me, heard me talk about this, but they didn't know the context, but I'm sure you do. If you're anywhere on the internet, you should know, you probably know about this. So there's been this recent hoopla, to put it mildly, about Hassan Piker abusing his dog with a shot collar. I'm sure you've heard of this if you are paying any attention to the internet and you give any craps about commentators on the internet. Okay, so here's my hot take regarding this. I think, even though I do, my reasoning for disliking Hassan has mostly to do with the casual toying with violence towards people that I don't like. He has been very flirtatious with violence, and it seems like he's kind of loosely validating it. When it comes to the dog, my current hot take is I don't think shock collars in general are abusive. Go to any professional trainer. As long as you do it right, you are doing that dog a huge favor by training it to respond to the buzz, not the zap. You train it with, like, when you hear the buzz, it should know, oh, the buzz is the thing I need to react to, not the shock. Once you've trained a dog on a shock collar consistently, which takes like literally like 5 minutes, a little 5 minutes of dog discomfort, which people zap each other with the shock collars all the time. It's not like it's the end of the world. They now can be like, I guess with cows and electric fences, it's like, as I was explaining to Jose, so my dog, it took 5 minutes. So it used to be where every time we went out on a walk with her, we'd have to have her on a leash, which meant she was constantly straining at the collar and always out of breath, never got to have any fun. She was always being held back, couldn't go have fun out in the woods. And because we couldn't trust her to, she would run off. Dad took 5 minutes with that shock collar, trained her that the buzz means you pay attention to me. Not the shock, but the shock informs the dog that the buzz matters. And literally never had to, she has not been shocked since. She just knows. And now she has the freedom to go run wherever the heck she wants, as long as it's not too far. She can sniff around, she can explore. And someone could say the shock collar was abusive. I'd argue the shock collar was a much greater kindness than the not using it. And same thing with invisible fences. If people have issues with shock collars, they should have a problem with invisible fences, because that's how invisible fences work. Dogs are taught that the shock that happens after the buzz, when you go over the line, don't go over the line, because ouch. Are you telling me all these people canceling Hassan don't believe in invisible dog fences? Now, I will say, if he did it out of spontaneous punished harm, and I don't even know if the dog was I say this as someone who strongly dislikes Hassan. I wish for nothing but failure for this man. But I just feel like this topic is, I mean, I'm guessing people are bandwagoning it because they just want him to go down whichever way will succeed. And if it's not because he let terrorists on his stream, they're trying to find some other way. I think it's a little funny that this is what the internet's really up in arms about, not the terrorists, the dog collar. Maybe you're right. From what I saw, maybe I didn't look at it close enough. It was hard to tell if the dog was shocked. Maybe it was. I don't know. And I was telling my friends today, there is a wrong way to teach. And if you use a shock collar, and by use it, you literally just punish the dog whenever it's doing something you don't like, which I have seen, that's abusive. So if you're the point of the collar is to train behavior. It is not to spontaneously inform your dog that there's a problem. I honestly was applying this to teaching kids as well. The point of anything that is a punishment with a kid, the point of the punishment is to teach them to not do the behavior in the future, not to jump scare them with consequences for something they didn't even know the consequences of were for. Now, kids obviously don't know everything. Sometimes they don't know that doing certain things is wrong. And sometimes even then, a punishment is needed to inform them on that. But you have to be very clear about what's going on and what the consequences are for, and therefore they know not to do it in the future. I think some parents will just get mad at their kid for something that they didn't teach their kid, and then they'll abuse them that way. Same thing with dogs. I think some people will have not taught their dog anything. There's no pattern recognition, and then they'll just randomly zap the dog when they're doing something they don't like. I think that's where, in fact, I'd argue that's even worse than not doing anything, both with kids and with dogs. I think it's worse to punish without a consistent lesson than to not punish at all. So I haven't. My takes are both pro punishment, but also only correct punishment or not at all. And with dogs, same thing. Like, don't just zap your dog. And if you can't figure out how to teach a dog correctly with your collar thingy, you should not have a dog. If you cannot figure out how to do basic training, which you should be able to. If your dog knows not to poop in the house, you can figure out how to teach it not to do other things. Okay. Again, I'm not sure what Hassan did. I didn't really watch. There's some times where I just don't really. So here's my a take. I think another take. I'm just gonna keep them coming. I'm in a mood. I think sometimes narratives can be manipulated because they know people don't actually want to look at the thing that's being described. Like, as you know, the 7th was the anniversary of October 7th, where a lot of horrific things happened, to Israelis. And I believe that happened, and I've seen a little bit of footage, but I don't want to look. I don't want to see that crap. And unfortunately, I feel like that opens up a lot of doors, not with Israel specifically, but just like, because I'm unwilling to check, it's a little hard to, I think most people don't want to see this stuff. It's a little hard to even take it serious, not take it seriously, but to like see it as a real thing that's even happening or that happened. And you can start forming narratives around the thing based on what you're told, but you really don't want to see it. You know, part of me feels like we have to get to a point where we're willing to see something. Some of these conspiracy theories I've heard, from, like, even with the Charlie Kirk thing, are like, did you watch the video? They're like acting like there wasn't blood. I'm like, am I blind? Watch the video. My guess is that people just didn't watch it. Not that I would want most people to watch it, but it makes sense that they wouldn't. And then they would believe conspiracy theories because they didn't watch the video. Yeah, people don't want to see that crap. Same thing with, honestly, most every controversial killing or event that happened recently. The only one that's been everyone kind of couldn't help but watch was the Irina one. That was something you could not avoid. I mean, you could avoid the violence. But that was smart. Whoever posted it did a good job at letting people know that if they were to share it or talk about it, they weren't going to see it. But the implication of the pausing before the act was done was pretty well thought out, I think. And you don't need a visual to guess of what happens next. The Charlie thing was shocking. I watched it right away when it happened. I think because here's the thing, I wasn't trying to. I didn't know. Here's what I think happened to people. I think more people saw it than normally they would. I don't know if I would have watched it if I had known he was legitimately killed. What happened to me was I saw the footage from another rooftop at a distance, and I saw like him fall over, and I thought, oh, that's crazy. Was he hit? But you couldn't really tell. And I hadn't heard he was dead. I just heard I'd heard there'd been a shooting at his event. So then I, of course, watched another angle to see what the heck happened here. And that's when you saw, like, what was very obviously a brutal killing. And I probably wouldn't have clicked it or watched it if I had known he was dead. I think I would have avoided it as well. Who wants to see that crap? But I think people needed to see it. And I don't think they would have watched it if they had thought that he was actually killed in that moment. I think there was something about that happening that in that way. I think people need to stop hiding from these realities. And I think sometimes when we cannot make it real when we don't look at it. So to some extent, maybe the fact that it took half an hour to be informed that he was killed, that made people take a look. You need to look at the consequences of things. Oh, yeah. Well, if you noticed, I was offline for like a couple days. I heard about that. I know. That was also, so much happened in that week that will like leave a deep impression on you. First of all, the seeing of it, which again, I probably wouldn't have looked at it if I had thought it was what it was. Second of all, the reactions. So the brutality of it, like the shock and then the horror of the glee that you're seeing around after you just saw something that was just horrifying by someone most of us knew. I knew Charlie. I had seen him plenty of times and I thought he seemed like a nice guy. So, and I know some people disagree, but whatever. Doesn't matter. He was familiar. And to see that happen to someone that you were familiar with, and then to see the celebration, it was those like next week, the week or two after that, I was just in a state of like, I could hardly sleep. I had almost sleepless nights a couple nights in a row. And it was like a series of things, like the weight of it was, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think it happened to a lot of people. I don't think it was just me. Again, I don't think most of us would have watched it. I don't think most of us would have seen it on purpose if we had known. Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was a great guy. And it's also annoying to feel like you see what seems to be obvious, that he's a solid guy, and then instead of being allowed to mourn, you have to spend your time on the internet defending him. Like, shut up, people. Like, shut up. Just shut up. Like, you don't like what he said. Is now the time? Do I have to, instead of, like, letting me sit on this, I have to, like, see my friends, like, yeah. It was a very annoying week or two. Because you're combining the grief with this, like, this anger at the madness of people. Like, you could just not say something. You could just be quiet. You could just have your opinion and not say that publicly. It's very frightening. Yeah, you're right, Kit. I think a lot of people came to realize that week as well how far things have fallen with people, how cruel everyone's gotten, how calloused, how like almost like just empty people have become. I think people had a wake up call on where we're at as a country. Like, we're not okay. You know? It was like, oh, there's a problem. Not to mention right after we'd seen all these killings and stuff because people are just being let out on the street. So it was just a whole series of like, oh, things are bad. And we've been acting like it's not. I mean, we've been a little bit angry about things, but it is the responsibility to some extent of people who are trying to hold the line to communicate that and not assume everyone is with you on things. You gotta start, and again, and ironically, Charlie was the one to represent that. It's like he was aware, and it's almost like he embodied the thing that we had done wrong that led to this, right? No one's communicating. There's they're the others, they're the bad guys, and then there's good guys and bad guys, and then we have to celebrate, and we cannot be empathetic towards anyone except for, anyway, I feel like that people really have to start being bold again. And by bold, I don't mean pushing people around and acting like you're the smartest person in the room. You're not. And I'm not saying I am, but like, we gotta stop being little chickens. And I say this is a little chicken. It's clearly not led to the results. Being quiet about what you think has not led to the results that maybe we were hoping for. I completely agree. And it was tough, again, at this time you're like getting to know this guy, seeing the reactions, and anyway, it has definitely motivated me to be a bit more straightforward about things. And willing to, there's something oddly inspiring about it. This idea of like, going out with some boldness and some gusto is kind of inspiring and made you kind of want to do that too, even though you think it would scare you. Be like, oh no, that'll happen to me. But instead it was like, I kind of want to be like that. That's kind of fun. That's some good energy there. I don't know. Obviously the reaction is to be, the results would be being misunderstood and having people assume you don't like them or that you hate them or something like that. That will inevitably happen, but it's like, at some point, it's like you cannot control how people will respond to what you say in good faith. You can be toxic, and then maybe you deserve that. See, there's always some nuance to something. It's just like I talked about with the kids and stuff. Like, you know what's funny? It kind of applies. Either correctly or don't do it at all. And I think that the incorrect correction, which was getting over emotional and dramatic and angry at people who slightly went off the beaten path, was the unhealthy way that has led to only a very angry society at the idea of correction. And by correction, I mean just speaking what you think is moral and what you think is not, and we can contend with what that means after you voice that. Obviously, again, it's almost better to not even... I think what we got to was we realized how bad it was. We realized how bad the legalism had been, and so we thought it's better to not do that, to not correct at all, than to be legalistic, instead of thinking maybe we can correctly, with some reason and decency, voice what we perceive as the right path and try to not recreate the legalism of the past, but not be freaking cowards to the point where no correction is ever given and society is left to fall into this darkness that is clearly surrounding us at the moment. And by surrounding us, I mean we're all dealing with, everyone's fighting it. Everyone has their demons to face, and it's not like the worst thing that happened to a Christian is assume they're not also within perfectly the realm of being taken by the dark as well. It's not like it's a... I know that's a controversial take, by the way. I know some people think that once you come to Christ, that you cannot be taken. I think we can fall away. I think people can... I mean, honestly, that's kind of my story a little bit. If you want to pay attention too closely, Emmett represents that. I think Christians can fall into despair and also be tempted and take bad paths. So again, the arrogance of assuming you are immune to that and to criticize everyone else, that's not good. That's not what we were about. And I think that's what happened. I think for a good while Christians got this ego trip thinking they were the one saintly group and that they were going to call everyone else out. Meanwhile, they're having affairs and being abusive to each other and their kids and not being in any way open to listening or even discussing with good faith. I think that'll get people. The inability to argue something or discuss something in good faith without being in alarm mode when someone slightly has considered something the wrong way. Yeah, there's a lot of things that led to where we're at. And it would be foolish to think it's just because, Christians were too nice. But I do think that's kind of where we're at, though. I think it became more... Some Christians were really mean and abusive. And then, so the nice ones were like, well, I don't want to be perceived as that, so I'm not going to say anything. And I'm going to make them like me first, and then maybe I'll try to trick them into my... sneak them into faith. I think that the overcorrection was unfortunate. Though I understand it. And attachment to the pride of knowing better. I think you know better than because Yeah. And again, what really hurts, as I mentioned to you before, I think what really hurts Christians is when they have that arrogant, well, I'm a Christian and I know what's best. Meanwhile, they're being awful. Definitely turns off people to the idea that that's a valid belief system. If it's encouraging this delusion of superiority by someone who's clearly not living up to their what they say they believe. Is hypocrisy is probably the worst thing. Everyone rightfully hates hypocrisy. It's insufferable, pretentious hypocrisy. Oh, I hate. That's why I really dislike a lot of these remakes for Disney remakes. The pretentious yet inferior writing, like the corrective, but by people who don't know what the heck they're doing, tone. It's just so annoying. Again, I'm not canceling it when I'm speaking about things that I'm perceiving. Yeah. Rendering. Yes. I think that's what's driving us a little. Well, no. I think I get annoyed the most at pretentious hypocrisy, but I think I even more dislike maybe the what seems to be the intentional not selective, but like misleading narratives right now. I'm sure you saw a lot of the quote unquote like criticisms of Charlie, and so many of them could not have been accidental. Like the lies, right? There were so many lies, and they were lies because they were surely intentionally taken out of context, like a willful incorrectness. That'll drive you crazy, man. Anyway, I'm really soapboxing too much. I'm getting in dangerous territory talking like this. This is not my fault. I am not to blame. All right, finish this. Won't be fully fleshed out. What do you mean? I mean, I don't have time for each one of them to have a full flashback. Okay. Oh my gosh, what just happened? I accidentally shut everything down. Okay. Don't insult them. I simply don't have time. That was interesting. I do like me some Lovejoy. Ooh! Wait, no, it's not what I thought it was. I want to hear this. I hope this is good. This is very few views, but I'm ready for it. I like 1,000 Miles, and I'm always looking for a new version of it. Oh. Where? Oh, they're performing. Where are you? Where are you from? No one. Are they going to be performing in America? In North Carolina? How, oh, did we just meet? Well, I didn't know they were going to be in North Carolina. That's very interesting. Well, I hope it goes well. I feel kind of bad for what happened to them, so I'm glad they still got some people who are going to go enjoy. Hang on, SBI. Which one was that? I don't remember that phrase. Oh! Wait. Sleepy Boys. Is that, was that Dream S&P? Oh, aw. Hey, thank you for your patronage. Think of me. An honor. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been very resistant to any even okay, so again, my feelings with regards to Dream SMP is I feel like I think they again, like I said before, I think they nurtured a culture of overcorrection per the public's opinion. They based their judgment largely on just whatever the masses has thought. And when one or two of them, and that happened to, I feel really sad about it. I say this as someone who really likes the Dream SMP and the people. I still think they're very talented. And I like them quite a bit, but I really think it was a shame how a lot of them threw their good friends under the bus for what I would argue is questionable accusations. But there's just been this weird thing where like you must agree with the masses. It's very I'm glad I'm not. I will make a point to avoid that as much as possible. And I'll try to make friends who don't play those games either. You don't want to. And the thing is, like, for a while, it's not so bad when it's people you're not that close to, right? It's not so bad until it is, and you be careful who you court as a friend if they're willing to do such things, if they're willing to participate in cancellations over supposedly things that are not their business. And maybe they don't know the whole story or has not gone to court or anything. Like, maybe just be quiet. I wouldn't want to be too close to people like that. What's your hot take? No, Kate, that's not a hot take. Everyone here agrees. Yeah, and again, I really think, and I like Tommy. I thought Tommy kind of, sort of went along with it. He definitely has kind of disowned Wilbur to some extent. Which I think is a shame. Yeah, Wilbur got, like, both Wilbur and George Not Found both got, like, crazy canceled for literally nothing. But again, they courted this audience of crazy people who loved to do mob stuff. They should not have. I don't know how you would have handled it. The only people I think I saw in the Dream SMP who were pretty sturdy in that regard was Schlatt and Technoblade. Both of them got canceled for bullcrap, literal bullcrap. Both of them were canceled for nothing. And they didn't apologize. And I thought, don't apologize for stuff that you didn't freaking do just to keep the mob on your side. And I hate it. I don't know what happened with Wilbur. I know Wilbur didn't really even, but at that point it was too late. They'd already courted that team. That group. A powerful but dangerous conglomerate. And I think it's also because a lot of them are children. I think there's a mob of children that they were maybe just leaning into. And kids don't know how to control their wrath, and you shouldn't play games with, you shouldn't participate in childish behavior. And maybe when you validate children's stupidity. Yeah, George's were, I'd argue, maybe even less valid than Wilbur's. They both had, like, and I say this as, let me clarify, I was not a crazy fan of either of them. I mean, I liked Wilbur. I thought Wilbur was delightful. And I take that back. I think Wilbur was wonderful. I think his spontaneous enthusiasm for others and his willingness to lift others up was a very important, and maybe he might have been the sole reason the Dream SMP ever existed. I think he was. Tommy was huge, but he saw Tommy's potential and elevated it with his intentionality. And it is it's a shame that his talent is wasted on. I just wish they'd had a different. I wish they'd been brave against their group. Their own. Again, there were a few. Techno was brave. Techno did not play games with that. I don't think he ever participated in cancellation. I don't think. And I don't know if Schlatt did either. Schlatt maybe. No, I think Schlatt was his own man. I think those two were the guys that I think they're pretty solid. And they were also. Techno was easily my favorite. I loved Schlatt too, but he went into his own thing. Maybe he knew he was too problematic for that group. Maybe he was smart for that. Maybe Schlatt saw the signs and was like, maybe I shouldn't dabble with this community. They're a little insane. Again, I was a part of that community. I was a huge part of that community. I did so much fan art, so I am speaking with love and an awareness of the fact that I was in it. But I never participated in any bullcrap like that. I would never cancel folks for accusations that are unproven and not taken to court. I could agree with it and think, wow, that's pretty bad. And I have sometimes been like, whoa, that looks bad. But like, my motto is basically, if you're in a mob and you're doing it for maybe a joke or something that is just, you can't prove the intentional harm being done, maybe you're the problem. Maybe you shouldn't be. I know it makes you feel good to get people in trouble for things, but like, you're more of a problem in my opinion than the slight offense of whoever. And the slight, it is usually slight. Usually it's like a joke that you did not like, even though it was clearly not intended to be harmful, or, yeah. Again, my goal is to not court such things. I know it's easier said than done. It would be scary. Once you explode into popularity like some of these guys, I feel like it would be hard to be the one that's like, no, I'm not gonna validate these hot takes. Good. I'm glad you're gonna go support him, no one. I like that. I would go, but I like a couple of Wilbur songs a whole lot. My favorite of Lovejoy's is probably. I'll play my favorite Lovejoy song. Where's my... Oh, this is my favorite of Lovejoy. I like this one a lot. It would make me happy if Tommy and him rekindled their friendship and started a new SMP. I think that would be the right thing to do, but it won't happen because the cancel culture needs to die before they ever participate with each other again. But I hope it happens. I would like to see what they could do. I really think they were very creative, and I think the idea of an SMP with creatives like that was solid. I think Tommy has disowned him. From what I hear, I feel like he's definitely not engaging with him in any meaningful way anymore. Which he shouldn't do, I think. I don't think that was a good thing to do. Hello, Joe. You missed some spicy conversations. You'll have to rewind the stream if you want to hear all my hot takes. Kit got me going. It's Kit's fault. Literally soapboxing for like 10 minutes flat. I'm doing good. Look, can you believe I'm still rendering? The shading continues. Yeah. Yep, there they are. We're slowly but surely shading them. Ohansi was a bit of a pain because not only did I decide to do a straight-on shot, like nose forward, the whole shebang perspective, but I also have all this hair in her neck and all that flows down into her chest, which is hard to illustrate. Yeah, I did go with the light from below. How goes comic making on your end? It's okay. I've been overwhelmed with music to listen to lately. No one, it was very nice for you to join us. It's been a good chat. I hope it was nice to have you added on. You had some interesting takes and perspectives to make the conversation even more exciting. So I hope you have a wonderful week. And it was nice having you. So Joe's here to fill the void. The big open void that happens when no one is gone. Profound. Wow. No one relates more. I have not been able to work on this most of today because I went out on a hike with some youngins, and I went to a 21 Pilots concert last night. Which was fire. If y'all have not embraced the 21 Pilots life, you are missing out. You need to look. I'm wearing. Well, I'm not. Don't worry. This is what it looks like. I'm currently wearing my merch from the concert. So now I'm wearing my hoodie from. I keep buying clothing. I'm wearing my. So this is my 21 Pilots. It's got the lyrics from the contract. Yeah, I got this at the concert last night. Yeah, it was awesome. I was so excited. I wish there had been more songs from the new album in the concert because the new album is like my favorite since Vessel, which is saying a lot because Vessel was like my album. They sang some of theirs. I'm glad they sang some of my favorites. The City Walls and Tally are easily my favorites. Well, easily is a strong word, but they are my favorites, and so I'm glad they played those. But they missed a few that I would have liked. If you're not on that 21 Pilots bandwagon, you are missing some very good content. Especially the lyrics, if you ever pay attention, but the music is fire. Speaking of fire, well, I was gonna say, so I was out in the nosebleeds because I'm poor. I make comics for a living, so we were out in the lawn, but at one point in the time of the concert, you should definitely listen to Breach. It's incredible. I might play some just now. Very good album. And it was the kind of lyrics I've been looking for. I'll play City Walls. But, anyway, so we were in the nosebleeds, and at one point in time in the concert, Tyler and Josh walked all the way up to the nosebleed section, to us in the lawn, and like literally just a few feet from where we were standing, they had a car set up, and they lit the car. The car was like, the aesthetic was the car is lit on fire, and him and Josh come right to the very back of where us in the middle of nowhere, and performed right beside us. It was crazy because we were so far away, and they had to really take a hike to get back there. But that's why I love 21 Pilots. They're like so thoughtful of everybody at their concert, and that goes from the people with the nice tickets and the not nice tickets. And I thought they're obviously going to treat the people up in the front well, and they got the best show. But it was so nice to feel like us cheapos were still gonna have a good experience. I love them so much. And the funny thing is, this book is going to be it's not going to be that big. People aren't going to look that hard, but I have to make each of the Zunga pop anyway. I wonder where you are. I wanted you to show
city walls on through.
Square up with me, I can come to you. Tell me when. Pair up with me, I can run on you. In the end, I write a promise in pencil, but my loyalties and pen. Use a mistake as a crooked stencil, then we trace it back again. From the mainland to the island of violence, it was the same plan for a while. Decided to send me up and rip you out of your seat. You see, in a city with no entrance, there was not a retreat. I'm wondering what you thought would happen, who you thought I would be. Was this a side swipe, or did you picture this in a dream? Buckle down, this is possibly the furthest we've reached. Now move it up, it's a breach.
I wonder where you are. I wanted you to show me where around these city walls, way on through. I wonder where you are. I wanted you to show me. The night is falling, and in my side.
Today I heard a lovely song. Oh, I'm so curious. Oh, wait. Oh. They're still talking. Okay, I'm gonna hear. I've given my opinion on the whole thing with the shock collar thing, and everyone's talking about this shock collar thing. It's so... I mean, I guess you know what? People like... I guess it has a hook to it. People like dogs. It's such a funny thing to cancel Hassan over. That is such a funny thing. I don't think it's like entirely fair. But it's funny. I refuse to watch some of those reactions. It just seems like they're all going to overblow it into what it doesn't deserve, but like, it's still funny. Because screw that guy. I'm not canceling him. Look, I am being fair. Alright, here's a song I thought was very beautiful. So, okay, I'll give y'all a little story. Let's see what you think. I'm going to show this to you and see what you think, okay? I don't know who's here, but I'm going to share it. Okay. So, whoever's here. So this is a song and like kind of a music video for David. It is a movie that's coming out at Christmas. This is not ever anything I usually look at. Anytime I see a Bible story animated in like a wholesome 3D Pixar looking animation style, I assume it's going to be pretty corny, or at least like not that good. You could just kind of get the vibe that it's not going to be up to par. And it's not going to be compelling. But this song is a banger, and honestly, here's my take. If this movie leans in on the action, which I saw some action in this music video, on the cool like fight sequences and like go let it be intense, let it be cool, I think a movie about David would be fire. I think David is one of the coolest like biblical figures, period. And I named Jonathan. The Mountain Men were heavily inspired by the mighty men of David. Jonathan was directly named after Jonathan because as David's friend a good friend who died, and there's no accident there. I think David and Goliath, I think all that is really cool. Anyway, but I never expected for an adaptation to do it well. Unfortunately, maybe we'll get there. It could be done well. It is such a cool story. But I'll play the song. Let's see what you guys think. It opens a little slow. It seems a little like cheesy, but the music is good and the content is good. So we'll see what y'all think. Maybe you'll disagree with me. Maybe you'll disagree. But let's give it a go and see what you think.
to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the
Oh, so okay.
the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. That's right, yeah. We'll see the sun rise out of the ash as we hold nothing back. When the shadows come, we won't run from the fight. Come on and follow the light.
Oh, it got really loud.
Come on and follow the light. If there's one thing that I know, I'm nothing but a man with the heart of a lion and the spirit of a lamb. Every battle that I've won, every giant that I've faced, I have never been alone, even on my darkest day. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. We'll see the sunrise out of the ash.
Is kids paying attention? Kids paying attention? It's good. It's so good.
Shadows come, we won't run from the fight. So come on and follow the light. Come on and follow the light.
I know. I was like, this sounds good. What's happening?
But faith, letting go is all it takes. Running with the one who hears your voice and makes the mountain shake. When you can't see the road, there's a fire in your soul. Trust and let it guide you anywhere you go. You gotta follow the light. Follow the light. Feel the rushing wind as you're running into the wild. We'll see the sunrise out of the ash, 'cause we hold nothing back. When the shadows come, we won't run from the fight. Come on and follow the light. Come on and follow. Come on and follow.
Just get there, kid. Just work hard. You'll get there. Practice. Right? Right? Wasn't that great? I've been avoiding. I'd seen clips of this around, and I was like, I think I know what this is gonna be. I'm not gonna watch this. I'm above it. I've literally ignored this song a couple times. I've seen it come up on my Twitter feed, and I finally was like, fine, I'll give it a dabble. And it was like, I like this. I like this. And I also my hubris. Like, I'm above Christian animation. I'm above it. Okay. Anyway. Anyway, oh man. Oh, I'm anticipating a full adaptation of Scent as soon as you have trained yourself in the arts of animation. I would love to do animation if I had time. But yeah, this movie. So I will say what I observed about this music video that I really liked. I liked that there was a focus on character, and not just like it was like a variety of character. I like how David is represented, and I like. One thing I really like about David in the Bible is how he represents this, like, uniquely, like, relying on God figure in a time where, like, people were kind of, like, shuffling around there. They were still kind of self-reliant. He became this, like, beacon of, like, faith rather than just strength, which I think is what makes him cool. And I like that I don't know how they're going to handle some stuff in David's story. We all know about some of the spicy stuff that David did wrong. So I don't know how they're going to handle that. My guess is they will not include it. But maybe they will. Maybe they'll end it when he becomes king. That would be very compelling, by the way. To include it, you don't have to be raunchy or anything, but I think the idea of a man after God's own heart falling so horribly and still being seen as this great man in the face of failure, that's very interesting, because I think a lot of us struggle with making peace with when our heroes fail. I have seen a lot of failings from people who were my heroes. It has been very hard. I honestly think there's hardly anything worse than someone you really look up to falling to darkness and evil. And I've seen it. I almost think it's worse than death. Them dying, I mean. And that sounds really bad, but it is very sad. It's because you want to believe that people hold the line, that people are going to keep at it. And I have been disappointed many times. But on that note, you really can't rely on this idea of the behavior of the saints being perfect to maintain your faith. Your faith is not dependent on the successful righteousness of your fellow man, because we are annoyingly incapable of maintaining consistent morality. I think we can do a pretty good job, though. I think we shouldn't be discouraged to the point where we don't think it's possible to be consistently righteous as best as you can. I think the world got a little too pessimistic about that. I do think people can hold the line. I've experienced goodness consistently in my life, so I do see it. So it can happen. I don't want to act like it's impossible. Everyone's secretly corrupt, but it is. You also do have to make peace with the fact that you're going to get disappointed a freaking lot. And David's a good example of that. Like, literally, man after God's own heart, really failed. Yep, Joe. That was always a good line, by the way. That line was fire. Whoever wrote that, that gif of like the person writing it, everything being lighting on fire. That's what that gif was designed for. That quote's amazing. Though I do think some people hold. I keep on putting the renders on the wrong layer. Oh my gosh, Tiffany. You gotta find all the light. I can see why you would dislike it, Kit. I understand. It's still a great line, though. It's inherently pessimistic, and but I think it's interesting on so many levels, and not just assuming that we all will eventually be corrupted by the world. Though what corrupted means is tough. I think compromising is a complicated thing, because I think people do have to compromise in some things to be to exist with some level of competency in the world. You can't be so stagnant on like exactly what you think that you can't be flexible to make an impact in the world. But I think an interesting thing that maybe is not what the movie was trying to go for when it said you live long enough to become the villain. I think there's an inherent, like, as power is acquired. I keep on rendering this on the wrong layer. Tiffany, stop failing. Oh my gosh. Tiffany. You gotta follow the light. I'm trying to think of movies that handle a good person falling short. Oddly enough, both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, I feel like, are incredible character arcs and studies in regards to the corruption of man, or even the transformation into the light of man. Because to my great surprise, I feel like Better Call Saul went the other direction, which you would not expect. That was a shock that they went in that way. Because usual media right now loves to imply that everything gets corrupted by power. Everything. And you could argue maybe humbling is the answer. Obviously, maybe they're not arguing that you don't get corrupted by power, but more like you can transform into being better by being inspired by other people who do it as well. A surprisingly optimistic and thoughtful sentiment. But not cheaply done, not just saying, hey, just be inspired. And I would love to get better at this. That's why I like talking about this stuff. I'm glad you guys are here for this discussion. I was discussing this last night. And I wish that people would stop thinking that they are whatever they are, like the first few things they do in life is just determines what they are. There's this weird idea of predeterminism. Thank God I'm not who I was when I was younger. The idea of transformation and changing should be encouraged all the time. And not just be nice, but like, you have things about you that are maybe really inherent to you that you need to fix. But what I was going to say, we were having a discussion about this last night on our way back from our 21 Pilots concert, and I think you guys would be interested in some of my takes on this. I was talking about how I think one of the challenges and the reason why the culture is where it's at is that for a while there, it felt like the only people writing compelling characters in narratives and stories, you had two types of narratives regarding family. I think the idea of a healthy family is being perceived as like an impossible thing. And I think the reason why that has become slowly the perception for a variety of reasons. One being, in reality, it is like there's more and more broken families and it's hard to think that when you see like 50% of them fall apart, you have to assume the other 50 are just stubborn. I think there's a reason why people are pessimistic about family and marriage. On top of that, the narratives, unfortunately, for a while there, the most people writing stories, for the most part, it felt like, the ones that were good at characterization were all pessimistic about people. You either had your very excessively simple, clean-cut, family-friendly content where everything's hunky-dory and it doesn't feel like the characters are very deep. And then you have these other shows that like have complex characters, but they're all like in this corrupted, horrible, everyone's awful, and everyone has so many flaws, but at least they have some flaws that are reflective and thoughtful and maybe related to relatable, kind of. And there's this idea that, okay, the corrupt, awful people, the people are writing are at least sincere and thoughtful. Therefore, that must be the reality of the world. There is nothing decent. Everyone has some secret sin. And yes, we are all sinners, but there's this idea that, like, goodness was not even worth trying to strive for because you're striving for hypocrisy is the idea. And no one wants to be a hypocrite, as me and Kit were discussing earlier. So I think, unfortunately, not only did the good writers, like Stephen King and, George R.R. Martin, Joe Abercrombie, just a lot of, like, very talented creators made a bunch of really nihilistic, pessimistic, the world is just full of nothing but everyone sucks and there's no loyalty or familial beauty. And I think people got inspired by them, unfortunately, but it makes sense because they were good at what they did. And then everything started reflecting that and everyone just started not believing in goodness at all, I think. Like, the idea would be if you even tried, you were an idiot because it's all fake anyway. I'd like to fix that. Because I've seen goodness. I have seen... And whether or not the people in my life have been perfect, that is not true. But I know what it feels like to have a healthy upbringing and people who love you and who slog through some of the challenges of life and are wise and give counsel. I know what that looks like, so I know it can't be a figment of my imagination, you know? And I think the steps... how you write a compelling character that is that way, I think you can. I honestly think this Follow the Light video is pretty good at that. I think decent and good people are interesting, especially if you show a world where people are apathetic and they contrast that. It's a Wonderful Life is a good example of that movie, of a movie that does that. Anyway, I have been so boxy tonight. Right, Joe? I completely agree. Yeah, to be fair, so I think some kids shows do a better job. Well, not better. I think some kids shows are obviously going to allow for less complexity, and there's not going to be like everyone's corrupt. I think those kind of naturally do that. Gravity Falls and Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teen Titans. I think there are shows that depict sincerity, but family. Uncle Iroh is such a good character. Oh my gosh, wow, absolutely. Gosh, what do we deserve? Someone was popping off in that writer's room. It was a brief moment of magic, and has not been returned to. I won't hear it. There's not been anything coming close to that level of thoughtfulness and intentionality with character and substance and meaning like the first Avatar. And don't pretend like the sequels even touched on that. Don't insult the source material. Okay, let's not pretend. Iroh is incredible. What a surprise. Of course, Iroh and Zuko. So much. Yeah, I'm going to hate on Korra. I feel like the writers did not know what the heck they were doing with her. They really didn't. Her arc was nothing. Don't. Oh, you're talking about... I will not be insulted. See, you see my snobbery. Once I have found something that I think is exceptional, and someone tries to do something kind of like it, I'm the kind of person that gets annoyed. Like, how dare you? I realize that most people are content with just having more of kind of the world and still enjoying more of that stuff and keeping the spirit of it alive. And there's a room for that. I'm looking at you, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Some people are really willing to put up with subpar content for just keeping the universe going, which is a whole nother department that I understand and I will not agree with, but I can understand it. Kind of. I think the problem is people don't know why they like things. I think, well, people do eventually like things for the world and the power system and stuff like that. That's fair. But I think they don't know what actually really kept them there. Or maybe they don't care. And maybe that's what annoys me. It makes me feel like there's a disrespect for what really makes something worth consuming, which is the story and characters. And intentional writing. That's what makes something good. But some people will see like Jurassic Park. They're like, you know what? I like the dinosaurs. I would watch any movie with dinosaurs now. And it's like, I don't think you would have liked the dinosaurs as much if the story wasn't well done. There's been plenty of original ideas that came out that no one cares about. And it's not because the magic system or the world building is inherently uninteresting. It's just they didn't do a good job hooking you. And again, that's okay. I guess people can like Star Wars. Kind of like, I don't think Star Wars would have been as beloved if it had been subparly written. Now people think that they like the world, and they do. And usually the merit of the writing and the world building often enough go hand in hand. I think it's luckily it's not too normal for a story to have phenomenal world building and design while also being poorly written. Ironically, I feel like that rarely happens. It's like the people who come up with the peak idea are unwilling to know they have to find someone who knows what they're doing to make it worth the genius idea. Speaking of which, let's watch some garbage.
YouTube's copyright system has become incredibly bad for creators like me. So if you like these videos and if you want to keep watching them, I need your help. I opened up memberships here on YouTube. Just $6 a month gets you a movie. It's literally out right now. You should totally watch it like right now. And then you do. And then you sit there and
Yeah, I think the world building is only carried by how the characters engage with the world building. Can the character utilize the world building to do the thing that matters in the story? Otherwise, it's just decoration. And now every time I talk about this stuff, I should probably reflect on scent. I need to be thinking about scent more intentionally. So on that note, how am I utilizing my world building? So I like to make myself look like I'm doing everything intentionally, but some things I think just happen. So for example, my world building is mostly Sunka lore. And a lot of that was revealed in Kane's backstory. So I combined the Kane backstory with the Sunka culture and lore reveals. And the lore reveals were important, and Kane's experience was important because it was to show how very important transformation and being in Sunka form is to the Sunka. Is no small thing. It is in fact a very big deal, not just a casual decoration. And you can't do that by just saying, hey, they really care about it. I wanted to really emphasize that it's a big deal to them. And I already emphasized that a little bit in volume 1 when they come across Tatanka's body, the importance of them dying in their correct form and not being desecrated and things like that. That how important that is, maybe I'd have to think more, because you know, it's funny. I was discussing with Shortline when he was making his what did I do here? Oh, it's fine. He's making his presentation for Sent. And we were going over the themes of the story, and I partly felt like a little annoyed because I feel like it's more than what I can verbalize, and honestly, it makes me not even want to talk about it. I was trying to, like, honestly, obviously I should talk about it, but a part of me felt like whatever I said was cheapening it. And maybe it is cheap. Maybe it's not that deep. But you really want it to be. And maybe the secret is just to not say, and people can figure out that it's deep, or make up the fact that it's deep after the fact, whether or not I can consciously tell you what it is that I'm trying to say necessarily. I would like to be wiser and have someone have something really interesting to say about my work. And part of me wonders if I'm succeeding at that or not. And if not, maybe for the next series I do, can I really push it with that? This was my test run. This was my characters. I focused on character, most of relationships. I'm not doing big philosophy here, really. I mean, I think it's a little bit philosophical. Hopefully that's how it feels, but I do need to consider what would have pushed this past that. What makes this compelling in a more substantive, long haul? Like, if someone were to discuss it, what would they say? And my ego would want that to be more than what it currently is. Okay, I'm done rambling. We're gonna watch this video.
Realizing that life is finite and ever fleeting, and you just spent 90 minutes of it on complete garbage. That's how I felt about The Map That Leads to You, the new Amazon rom-com starring KJ Apa and that one girl from the Outbreaks. You know, having spent so much time with the Riverdale kids, like, it's nice to see them trying to branch out a little bit. Like, Do Revenge was pretty great. Cole Sprouse has been doing stuff. I assume KJ Apa's on a roll of making some of the dumbest movies you'll ever see. But hey, work is work. Anyway, so I've had this movie on my radar for a bit, and like, I know it came out like a month or so ago, but hey, sometimes you gotta answer the call and make videos about Barbie movies, okay? But all the same, let's check out the absolute masterpiece of cinema that is The Map That Leads to You. Come on, kids, let's take a walk. But before that, really quick, this video was brought to you by Surfshark VPN. If you've been on the
Oh my gosh, enough of the ads.
your privacy is under attack. Every website tracks everything you do, what videos you watch,
Alright, tell you what, I'm gonna take a second. I suddenly really have to go to the bathroom. I'm back. I know you can't see me, but you have to believe. You have to believe. I went to the restroom and got a drink. There I am. Where were we? What have I missed? Oh no, we lost Joe. There goes Joe. Let's see. And where's my... Any comments in the live stream? Okay, no.
Just say, it's nice to see girls who actually have cheeks that have not yet been lorded by the buccal fat removal culture. Europe with her best friends. Just having one last little bit of freedom before she has to go back and move to New York City and work some dumb job for like 40 years and raise kids that don't even like her. And when she finally gets her freedom back, like, you know, those knees and ankles are not what they used to be. Now, Heather is the kind of girl who needs like stability and she's always making plans and stuff.
I am almost done with this itinerary. Like the itinerary, I told you we're good. I told you we're down for whatever. You need a plan. I don't need a plan.
Yeah, you do. You can't just join a tour whenever you want, you know? Like, you can't go into a restaurant in a busy tourist area and just be like, do you have a reservation? Not exactly, but like, you think maybe you can make an exception for someone who's never faced any real consequences before in their life? No. Anyway, so they're on this train going to Barcelona, and some dude just like jumps up on the luggage shelf and he just sleeps there. So this guy's name is Jack, and he's about as annoying as you might imagine given recent events. Now, when everyone goes to sleep, Heather starts reading Hemingway, because of course she does. And Jack has a few things to say about that.
This almost arises. It's not one of those. Reading Heather's fine, isn't it? That's what women supposed to like anyway anymore.
It's pretty sure that's exactly what we want. Now, what are you doing on the train to Barcelona?
You're gonna love that stuff.
OMG, a boy who's hot and reads books now, way. So, like, not like other guys. Here, let me read you my favorite passage from my favorite book. On Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. And that's just like how I'm trying to live my life, man, you know? Wow. Also, like, you know Heather would not be reading Hemingway on this trip, okay? This iPad would be full of just, like, the worst fans. Okay, so long story short, Heather finds this Jack guy kind of interesting, and her other friends also find some super cute, super fun boys to pair off with, like Rafe, who's a friend of Jack's, I guess, and then there's this other random guy on the train named Victor.
Tell him to come here. I'm gonna get him. Are you coming back? No. But you're so hot and I love you. Have fun. Bye. Okay.
Do you want to move away from the speakers? It's too loud.
Well, they're gonna come back here.
Do you have a phone? We'll find them. Come on.
Yeah, so all three girls separate and go off alone with these dudes they just met like 4 minutes ago. But focusing on Heather because she's the main character. She and Jack end up outside of a club just talking about like life and stuff.
You have a job? Do you work? How do you?
I try not to work. I mean, I do odd jobs here and there.
Like what?
Scrub, crap, off a boat in Marseille.
Ew.
I've worked in a supermarket. I've cleaned cars.
And one time I fought a grizzly bear, and then I got superpowers, but that was just an alternate reality version of myself. And now my best friend
Oh my gosh, oh.
is in a Boy Scout bunker, and whatever he writes in his book happens in real life. This show got 7 seasons, by the way. So as you may have picked up by now, Jack is one of those freewheeling, don't think about the future, just living in the now, man, kind of guys.
So you've just been traveling?
Yeah, it's kind of the best way to go. To just see what happens.
Go to the club.
Yeah, I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I heard once compatibility in a partner. It's great when people are actually different from each other. Opposites.
Yeah, okay, this is so not true. You want to have the worst relationship of your life? Date someone who's the opposite of you. I don't care what anyone says. Trust me, it's gonna be a bad time. Well, like, so Jack is pretty much just this like manic incubus dream boy or whatever, where it's like, what if there was a guy who never made any plans? He never knew what he was gonna do or where he was gonna go or anything about it. Well, that sounds exhausting. Okay, but what if he was hot and had an accent? Okay, well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Shoot, sign me up. But then we finally get a glimpse of what exactly Jack is doing on this trip.
Well, you can see there's a girl from there. Right there. See it right up?
There's a drawing of that church in my great-grandfather's journal. He was a soldier, World War II. Stayed in Europe after the war. Wrote about all the places that he traveled to. I have it with me. I'm trying to go to every place that he wrote about.
Oh, so you do have a plan. Interesting. Wow. But anyway, so all of her stuff stolen by that Victor guy. Really? This upstanding gentleman? You don't say. So Jack and Heather and everyone else, they team up to find him, they beat the crap out of him, they steal all of his stuff, including several thousands of dollars, which they can use for their trip.
However.
Here's where Jack starts getting a little weird.
This is a really good photo op.
Oh, take a photo.
Okay.
Alright,
Scooch, switch. So.
No glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm good.
No photos, huh? I'm on. Now, all the girls are supposed to go back to the U.S. like the next day or whatever, but they all kind of want to stay a little bit longer. Like, Heather wants to stay with Jack, of course, and then that girl who got her stuff stolen, she wants to, like, do whatever this woo-woo nonsense is.
I'm trying to remember those backpackers I met in the tapas bar. Yeah, the tall one, Goran. He was saying that it was like life-changing. He detoxed from society and he was like reconnecting with himself.
And that other friend is really crushing on that Rafe guy, you know, so they all kind of separate off and do who knows what. Now, like I said, Heather wants to stay with Jack because when she goes back home, it's just going to be a bunch of boring, dumb adult stuff. Like, hey, you pay your taxes and post your Instagram. Oh, let's try making sourdough. That sounds super fun. But this also means that she's subjected to listening to, like, all of his thoughts on, like, everything.
So much to say. I can't even look at it without cringing. I can't even look at it.
She's trying to get her shot.
All she cares about is the amount of attention she's going to get on social media. Gaudi didn't build this place
show it off to their friends and their Instagrams.
You know, a few years ago, this dude was in a Netflix movie called The Last Summer, which is pretty much this exact same movie.
I feel like we have such an opportunity in this really connected world to get to know each other. Maybe even wipe away some hatred based on stereotypes. And what do we have to show for it? Snap streaks. Makes me want to throw my phone in Lake Michigan.
Now, one day, when they're off driving around to go somewhere, Jack decides this is a great time to lore dump all of his life story for like no reason.
Like, I double majored in economics and statistics.
What?
Got a job really similar to the one that you're about to start.
Really? You?
And I had this health scare. I knew I had to make a change. I wasted so much of my life.
But you see, Heather's feeling all kinds of ways about this. Like, she wants to spend more time with Jack because, like, how often do you meet a guy whose facial hair never goes past this point? You know what I'm saying? Incredible. But she's also kind of like being kind of bad, you know?
I'll be back in time. I'm just gonna come back a little tanner.
Now, what about the girls?
They decided to extend their trip as well.
I just want you to be safe.
I'm being safe, I promise. I feel so bad lying.
Because you know you're traveling around Europe with a random. No?
I've never missed a flight before, especially not on purpose.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just a second here. What is this weird obsession with, like, not being responsible for anything? Like, why is it so bad to just, like, care about following through with...
Hang on, I wasn't.
This was in a Netflix movie called The Last... Now, like I said, Heather wants
Okay,
to
dang it.
because when she goes back home, it's just going to be a bunch of boring, dumb adult stuff. But, hey, they're paying taxes and scroll through Instagram. Oh, let's try making sourdough. That sounds super fun. But it's also... like everything.
So obnoxious to me. I can't even look at her without cringing. I can't even look at her.
She's trying to get her shot.
All she cares about is the amount of attention she's going to get on social media. Gaudi didn't build this place for people to show it off to their friends and their Instagrams.
You know, a few years ago, this dude was in a Netflix movie called The Last Summer, which is pretty much this exact same movie.
I feel like we have such an opportunity in this really connected world to get to know each other. Maybe even wipe away some hatred based on stereotypes. And what do we have to show for it? Snap streaks. Makes me want to throw my phone in Lake Michigan.
Now, one day, when they're off driving around to go somewhere, Jack decides this is a great time to lore dump all of his life story for like no reason.
Like, I double majored in economics and statistics.
What?
Got a job really similar to the one that you're about to start.
Really? You?
And then I had this health scare. I knew I had to make a change. I wasted so much of my life.
But you see, Heather's feeling all kinds of ways about this. Like, she wants to spend more time with Jack because, like, how often do you meet a guy whose facial hair never goes past this point? You know what I'm saying? Incredible. But she's also kind of like being kind of bad, you know?
I'll be back in time. I'm just gonna come back a little tanner.
Now, what about the girls?
They decided to extend their trip as well.
I just want you to be safe.
I'm being safe, I promise. I feel so bad lying.
Because you know you're traveling around Europe with a random. No?
I've never missed a flight before, especially not on purpose.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just a second here. What is this weird obsession with, like, not being responsible for anything? Like, why is it so bad to just, like, care about following through with what you say you're going to do and, like, have a goal and then work to achieve it? You know, it's kind of like all those Hallmark Christmas movies that end way too soon, you know, because, like, after the girl gives up her high-paying job in the city to marry the exciting, unpredictable local hunky lumberjack who reminds her of the true meaning of happiness and or Christmas or something, yeah? Like, you know their life's going to turn to garbage so fast. So, did you pick up the kids from school? Sorry, honey, I'm just living in the moment, you know? Can't be tied down to other people's expectations. Just gotta be true to myself. So are the kids, like, dead now or what? Anyways, they keep following Jack's great-grandfather's journal, and as they do, Jack just can't stop repeating, you know, whatever the last thing he saw on TikTok was.
The universe, or whatever you want to call it, wants for us what we want for ourselves. So all we have to do is think it as often and as hard as we can.
Yeah, Heather, like, what if actually we're the main characters of the universe? And, like, if I just think hard enough, I could totally be like Goku, probably. You know, you're really lucky you're like an alien, dude. This movie's literally just vibes the movie. Like, nothing's actually happening. There's no story being told. They're not doing anything. It's basically just a glorified travel vlog. But eventually, what do you know? They end up doing the devil's tango.
How crazy, there's a bath in the master's bedroom. It's incredible, this whole experience, you know? If you could ask God or the universe, here I go again, one question, what would it be?
No, Jack, no. Stop. You know, you're really bad at this. This is not like a post-coital conversation, okay? Now, the whole movie continues like this, with them going from place to place, having all these amazing romantic adventures in Europe. But eventually, one day, it's time to go home.
I'm getting on a plane to New York, and we haven't really talked about how you feel about that or what you think.
I think we should make the most of every one of those days until you go.
Until I go, and then what?
I don't know.
You don't know? I get it. You don't make plans. You get distant any kind. I show any sort of interest.
Oh, interesting! Suddenly the hot, fun, sexy, spontaneous guy isn't looking so good anymore, huh? Hey, so, like, what even is all this? Like, what are we? Ew, stop talking about serious stuff! Let's just live in the moment, man! No, dude, like, are we gonna break up after this? Or, like, what's going on? Because I gotta go home either way, okay? So, what? Just live in the moment! So, they get in this big fight and Jack storms off, but he comes back and he kind of sort of has a change of heart.
What did I do? I'm coming with you.
Oh, are you now, Jack, huh? Just like that? Well, did you fill out your ESTA form beforehand and get it approved? Is this, like, VMP approved for U.S. immigration? But sure, hey, just hop on a plane, see how far you get. But anyway, mere minutes before it's time to board the plane, Jack starts being a little weird.
single part of it. It was great. Still so much more I want to say, though.
Do you always feel like this when you're confused?
And then he disappears. Heather can't find him, her text reply doesn't go through. It's like he was never even there. So many months go by. Heather has gone back to her real life. She moves to New York City. She works in a super fun, high-octane banking job, as you can see. But you know, gosh darn it, she just isn't quite over Jack. No reason, no closure, no explanation on how we get this beard exactly the same for weeks at a time. What's a girl supposed to do, you know? So Christmas comes around. Heather's back at home with her dad. They're having a little heart-to-heart talk.
You got a great life. You got a life better than I ever even dreamed of. You got a great education. You got a great job. You got a great future. You do not let this boy take that away from you.
When I was with him, like I wasn't thinking about expectations of myself. I was just there with him.
Yeah, it's called freedom.
I'm missing that.
I'm sorry, it's like this is the stupidest movie. Like, oh man, backpacking around Europe with no responsibilities and my dad on speed dial to send me money whenever I need it? Gosh, I sure wish I could just do that every day, man. No freaking duh! What a profound realization she's come to. Hey dad, I think I don't like working. OMG, this is getting married to that Rafe guy. And at the wedding, Rafe gives Heather a letter from Jack. What?
Heather, I know vanishing at the airport was an unforgivable thing to do. I lied to you about how sick I've been before the cancer would come back. Suddenly there it was. Instant, my future was uncertain. The journal wasn't some self-help book or guide to find fulfillment. It was a map that led me to you.
Yeah, so turns out Jack is the way he is because he has cancer, and it's not looking too good, which is why he never cares about making future plans or whatever, right? Now, something else in this letter reminds her of a place in Jack's great-grandfather's journal. So, she packs up her stuff and goes back to Europe.
Heather, I can't offer you. I can't give you the future.
I don't need you to. You can whatever you told me. If you think it's yours.
Alright, guys, you know what? Fine, let's give it a try. Oh, heck yeah. But all the same, that's pretty much the end of the movie. So, like, what a dumb movie. Like, it's not even about anything. Basically, this entire movie is Heather realizing that working a job is not as fun as traveling around Europe. And so therefore, that's what she's supposed to be doing with her life. Like, how is this a real movie? Also, like, okay, so right at the beginning, Heather's friend is like, making plans is stupid.
With this itinerary? With the itinerary. I told you weren't going to do that. You said we were. I told you we're down for whatever. We don't need a plan. We don't need a plan.
And then Heather meets Jack, who's like, making plans is stupid. And then she's like, OMG, you're so right. Wow, my life has totally changed now. Like, this movie could have been over in 5 minutes. Making plans is like so cringe, though. You know what, Amy? You're right. Let's just go with the flow and see where life takes us. What a way to spend 90 minutes, am I right? Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please watch another one, because that's how the algorithm works. So click on this one that's being recommended to you right now, right here on the screen. It actually helps a lot if you do that.
Because now,
Hello,
finally,
I'm
some
back.
people are talking about it, which is a relief. I'm glad. Here we go. What's a midwit? It's a derogatory insult to a person of about average intelligence who perceives themselves to be above average. Let me turn this up.
Oh, I'm so cold.
So most people will average. Yes, that was correct. We will be looking at the most obnoxious, unlikable, pretentious phenotype out there. Midwits, oh, I mean, you're literally looking at it. Oh, actually, turned into a literal person. It's not bad enough.
Those who don't know, a midwit is someone who's of average intelligence, and they think of themselves and present themselves as someone of higher intelligence. Which is seen in this
How about
video of the midwit. Then after that, we have this pseudo-intellectual. This person is accepted, they pretend to be knowledgeable or intelligent, while they are somebody who lacks genuine depth and understanding of perception.
Yeah, those are people that bring up logical fallacies. It's that kind of stuff.
Things, but they have a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
And a lot of the traits we just covered, they're genuine.
Yeah, it's the same person, generally. They're multi-classing.
In the same people. And as somebody who has a lot of experience with these people in general, I believe I have a very good understanding of them. I know how they operate, why they behave the way that they do.
Anybody who makes content on the internet is fully aware of these people.
How to
I don't know if I call them people.
A
Yeah.
lot of these videos already have gone over this.
Yep.
They've covered this exact same topic. And I would say that they're very valuable. But for
Yeah, I love
regurgitating that same information, think of this video as an addendum to the
Oh.
and not the end-all be-all. Firstly, we have to understand them, know exactly what drives them. And at their core, they are very antisocial people who are extremely insecure. That is where a lot of their obnoxious behavior stems from. Now, let me give you an example here. Let's say that you were talking to one of these midwits, and you said, the weather outside looks beautiful. I'll let that statement alone. They're going to rush into it and say, yes, it is. And that happens because of the high-pressure systems over our heads. You see, clear skies happen in the air, so skies know that it's like
So basically, they're AI before AI was created. They're like a chat GPT pod. Okay, got it. That's about right.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Nobody cares.
Shut up.
Nobody gives a shit about whatever you're saying right there. We have all had this happen.
Yes.
We've had this person who goes on an extremely long
I'm getting called out. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's me. I'm the one. Oh. But I have valid opinions. I do think these things. I don't feel like I'm. It could be calling myself out a little bit. I hope it's not me. Oh no, I should probably ask people if they think I ramble too much. Maybe I shouldn't soapbox so much. But I have opinions. I'm not. That's fine.
This seems personal about me, but okay.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's projecting or relating to.
Being perceived as a person of above average intelligence and being able to perform that in front of other people to make them think that you're superior to them. That's the reason why they do this.
opportunity to show the people around you how smart and knowledgeable
That's
I am,
right.
which
Yep.
at the end of the day
It's that
is
simple.
brought into the core
Yep.
because it is only self-serving. And people can sense this. We all sense this coming a mile away, and we hate it. Which ties into the key aspect of pseudo-intellectuals, why they're feigning knowledge, wisdom, or intelligence. They don't learn the things that they do because it's useful to implement it into their own lives. No, they don't care about that.
Nope.
What they care about is using it to impress the people around them.
What a
which is
surprise.
fake and shallow at the end of the day. Everybody hates it. And the way we know that is true is because if you pay attention to a person's actions, it will tell you what they actually care about, what they value, what their goal is.
Isn't it exhausting to do this your whole life? Well, there's a lot of people that spend their whole life being addicted to stupid things. This is just another version of that. I wouldn't really be that surprised. This is normal.
Interaction with you. If you and me, we were talking to each other.
This is that for them.
I
That's
start to
normal.
listen to you. I start to ask questions about
Yes.
you. I hear you out. This
Okay.
is my way of conveying without words that I care about you. I
That's
care
right.
about the things you're saying to me. You deserve my attention. That's what you're showing with your actions.
Sure.
On the other hand, if I just ignored you, I talked over you, I just went on long irrelevant tangents about the things I know, that is my way of saying to you, you are unimportant to me. What I really care about is not you, but it's how I appear to you. That's what I'm getting at. This
Yeah,
is
it's all self-referential. It's
Right.
Self-referential logic that they just want to feel important and feel smart.
one
Yes,
thing.
egocentric. Yeah, it is.
Explain the lens in which we need to view these things. If you use this lens, you also show interactions between them.
Yep.
You will have a better understanding of people in general. And it's through this lens that we can examine some of the stereotypical behavior of these midwits. One common example is the nitpicking behavior. It can be you make a small typo, you mispronounce something, and they'll hone in on it and use it against you. While in reality, it's not an issue. Everybody knew what you meant.
I think that people usually do this because they can't attack your argument. Usually, whenever I see people that attack spelling errors, what that indicates to me is that it's a person who wants to find a way to invalidate the other person, but isn't really able to do that. So they have to resort to looking at their grammar, their spelling, and I mean, to a certain extent, if somebody can't communicate, that they probably are a fucking moron. But not always, every single time. If you attack spelling, you're a loser. I mean, to an extent, but I think that if you really can't spell shit at all, like you're probably a moron too. Very pedantic, yeah, it is. And so I think generally that's the reason. That's the impulse behind it.
Let it slide. It wouldn't change anything. Oh, but the mid-wit pseudo-intellectual,
Yeah.
they will not. These people will never miss an opportunity to pop in and show, actually, this is the correct way to say it.
Yeah.
This is what you actually mean. And at the end of the day, this action, it doesn't aid in the conversation. It doesn't aid in clarifying anything.
But it does aid in their ego, which is the only thing they care about.
And it is nothing
That's
more
the
to these people than an opportunity to showcase how much they know
Obviously.
at your expense. Again, you've got to remember what is at the forefront of their mind.
How
Look
can
at
I
me, look at
see?
how much I know.
Yeah, as a
Shut
smart
up
person.
and pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Look and see how smart I am. And what is so ironic at the end of the day is they characteristically don't even understand what they're talking about. It's all surface level. I tell you,
It's
one
like
time
AI.
I was talking to a guy, and he asked me what I do. And I told him I do freelance video editing because
Nice.
that's what I was focusing on at the time. And instantly he jumped in and said, oh, you should go to Fiverr. I heard there are people who make a lot of money on there. You should try that.
A lot of money. It's $5. It's in the name.
I know. You should do the smart thing and let the business come to you rather than seek it out yourself. And I politely told him, that's not how it works. You can't just simply make a Fiverr account and expect it to work from there.
Yeah.
I looked into this as a freelancer. It's a lot harder than you make it out to be. It's not that simple. But he didn't listen. He said, no. Trust me. I've seen it. You can just make an account on there and you'll
Bro, this is like somebody trying to sell an MLM scam or something like that. Like, the people that constantly try to insist that they know how to do your job better than you do, how fucking obnoxious. Oh my god.
Look, trust me. I mean, just
Trust me, bro.
Right?
Trust me, I know how to
Before, we were talking about this. And so I finally asked him and said, wait, have you ever done any video editing yourself or any commissions?
No.
And he said, no, I have, of course. And I asked him again, have you done any work on Fiverr?
He says no.
And he said, no, man, but I've heard people do really well on it. And
Well, see, I read on the internet it said it was good. So your personal, no. If I read it on the internet, it's real.
And I instantly realized right at that moment,
Yeah, this
I
is
wasted
bad.
my whole
Yeah.
time talking to this fucking idiot who doesn't know anything he's talking about, who's telling me what I should do. And what's worse is if you stop to think about it, you realize
Yeah.
these people don't care about you at all. Again, all of this is performative. The only thing he really cared about and wanted to hear was for me to say,
You're
yes,
smart.
I will
Yes,
do this
I'm gonna
thing
help you.
suggest. So
Yeah.
you can feel good about yourself. If that's all he wanted, that's all he cared about. This whole conversation at the end of the day was simply self-serving to him, to give him an ego boost. But let me tell you about another story, another interaction I had. I one time met this girl and asked her,
Uh-oh,
"What are you
that's a
going to
problem.
college for?" And she said, photography. And then she told me what her whole plan was, to get hired by a big company to do their
Oh,
marketing for them.
wow, that's a lot.
The photography, I know, you've heard this a billion times before. People tell you, you should become a freelance wedding photographer. You should start your own business.
Sure.
You'll make so much money. Just take pictures of people at their weddings. That's what you should do.
Yeah, makes
Instead of
sense.
saying any of that, I stopped and said, I'm curious, why are you interested in working for a corporation instead of doing freelance work like everybody says?
Yeah,
And
sure.
after that, she instantly lit up. She told me why. She went over the pros and cons of it. She talked about the negatives of doing freelance work rather than having a stable job at a company.
Well, and you can see what the difference there is, right? It's like you're not imposing what you're saying on somebody else. You're not telling them what to do. You're not trying to like talk down to them or patronize them or something like that. You should rather than I should. Yeah, like you just ask you. And also, like, by the way, this is something that's in general true.
I'm not listening.
Expects to work from there.
Yeah.
I looked into this as a freelancer. It's a lot harder than you make it out to be. It's not that simple. But he didn't listen. He said, no. Trust me. I've seen it. You can just make an account on there and you'll
Bro, this is like somebody trying to sell an MLM scam or something like that. Like, people that constantly try to insist that they know how to do your job better than you do, how fucking obnoxious. Oh my god.
Look, trust me. I mean, just
Trust me, bro.
Right?
Trust me, I know how to
Before,
work.
we were talking about this. And so I finally asked him and said, wait, have you ever done any video editing yourself or any commissions?
No.
And he said, no, I have, of course. And I asked him again, have you done any work on Fiverr?
This is
And he said, no, man, but I've heard people do really well on it.
Well, see, I read on the internet it said it was good. So your personal, no. If I read it on the internet, it's real.
And I instantly realized right at that moment,
Yeah, this
I
is
wasted
bad.
my whole
Yeah.
time talking to this fucking idiot who doesn't know anything he's talking about, who's telling me what I should do. And what's worse is if you stop to think about it, you realize
Yeah.
these people don't care about you at all. Again, all of this is performative. The only thing he really cared about and wanted to hear was for me to say,
You're
yes,
smart.
I will
Yes,
do this
I'm gonna
thing
help you.
suggested. So
Yeah.
you can feel good about yourself. If that's all he wanted, that's all he cared about. This whole conversation at the end of the day was simply self-serving to him, to give him an ego boost. But let me tell you about another story, another interaction I had. I one time met this girl and asked her,
Uh-oh,
"What are you
that's a
going
problem.
for?" And she said, photography. And then she told me what her whole plan was, to get hired by a big company to do their
Oh,
marketing.
wow, that's a lot.
The photography, I know, you've heard this a billion times before. People tell you, you should become a freelance wedding photographer. You should start your own business.
Sure.
You'll make so much money. Just take pictures of people at their weddings. That's what you should do.
Yeah, makes
Instead of
sense.
saying any of that, I stopped and said, I'm curious, why are you interested in working for a corporation instead of doing freelance work like everybody says?
Yeah,
And
sure.
after that, she instantly lit up. She told me why. She went over the pros and cons of it. She talked about the negatives of doing freelance work rather than having a stable job at a company.
Well, and you can see what the difference there is, right? It's like you're not imposing what you're saying on somebody else. You're not telling them what to do. You're not trying to like talk down to them or patronize them or something like that. You should rather than I should. Yeah, like you just ask you. And also, like, by the way, this is something that's in general true. Whenever you're having a conversation with somebody and you ask the person questions about what they're telling you about, they're going to like that because it means that you're paying attention to what they're saying. So that's a little life hack, little tip, okay? I'm not the best looking guy out there. So if I'm talking to a girl, I need all the help that I can get. And let me tell you something, guys. Asking them about their interests, then asking follow-up questions about those interests, it's like a life hack. It's like a cheat code.
And things like that. She went into
Works really well.
about this thing.
You'd be shocked.
Guess what? It's not my place to give her advice in her own field that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
The only position I am in as someone who doesn't do photography while she's pursuing it,
Exactly.
thinking about it for hours every day, is to ask her questions. monologues that nobody pays attention to. People compliment me and tell me how smart I am, right? That's why so many people in general value their intelligence. They take pride in their intelligence. They base their self-esteem upon it, which is unhealthy. I don't think you should do that. Because if you are actually intelligent, that is
In my opinion, I think that if you base your self-esteem off of any sort of voluntary reaction from other people, you're only going to make yourself unhappy. So if you base your self-esteem around people liking you, if you base your self-esteem around people perceiving you as anything, what you're going to end up doing is eventually running into a wall with that and making yourself unhappy. That's my opinion, that's my advice. You've got to have your own self-image that is defined by you, it's reinforced by you, and it may be enhanced by other people, but it can stand on its own.
earned virtue. You did nothing to earn it. You were simply born with it. People who fixate on their own intelligence, they usually have nothing going on in their lives. That they can rest their self-esteem on.
Well, this is another thing too, is that a lot of these pretend smart people on Reddit, there's a reason why they're on Reddit. It's because they're not smart. Like, and you can see this in any topic that, like, you know a lot about. Go on to Reddit and read about people talking about it, and these are a bunch of retards that have no idea what they're saying. Yeah, they actually think, yeah, exactly, you have a job, exactly, yeah. A lot of these people are just morons.
Hello. Is there one pillar they rely on? And if you threaten that, if you shake it by being smarter than them or undermining
This is the same reason why a lot of Redditors insist that every streamer is stupid. It's because it creates, and you have to understand that the perception around this and insulting and calling other people dumb, the reason why they do it is actually in order to protect their own ego. They care about being perceived or seen as somebody who's intelligent, and because they care about that so much, they don't like, or seen as other people like, let's say like they don't want to be seen as somebody who is in one way or another a loser. So if you go on LSF or you go on one of these other like subreddits, you're going to have all these people that are talking down about like content creators, or talking down about like a musician, or talking down about anybody who's successful. Why is it that they have a crabs in a bucket mentality for anybody who's successful? Well, the reason why is because the moment that somebody is successful that they perceive to be less intelligent than them, what happens to them is now they feel like, wait a minute, if they're dumber than I am and they're successful, well, why the fuck am I not successful? That's reaching? I don't think so. I think that almost all people in the way that they act is in some way or another related to them. It's a reality check, it is. That's the reason why they do it, it's coping.
intelligence. They will hate you. Because that's the one thing they have in life. Never undermine it or shake it. Never point out how they are wrong, because they will hate you. And what we can learn from this
Exactly.
is one, we should not rest our self-esteem
100%.
on intelligence. Secondly, we need multiple pillars of self-esteem. If you base it off of intelligence, there are going to be people out there, by virtue of existing, that will make you feel inferior.
Smart people,
to
sure.
Whereas, let's say you're a retard. You can be a happy, lovable retard. You can say to yourself, I might be retarded, but I'm at least moderately attractive, or I take care of my nose.
Yeah.
I'm likable, people enjoy me. I make the people around me laugh, I'm charismatic.
Sure.
I have other positive qualities about myself.
A lot of people like that.
When he meets somebody who's smarter than him, he's not going to be insecure whatsoever. He's not going to be combative with them. He's not going to be
That's the way that retards are smarter than the midwits. Exactly. Because they don't need to be.
secure around them. He's going to love you. And that is what you need to do. Be like the retard instead of
Be the retard, that's right.
Intellectual, who do everything in their power to feel good about themselves, feel very intelligent, and get that ego boost. Don't do that. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a truth nuke. I usually don't call it a truth nuke, but I'm very confident of this, and everybody needs to hear this. One, people do not care at all how you appear to them. Nobody cares about how you talk about yourself or how you frame yourself to be in front of them.
Absolutely. Fucking absolutely. Yes, nobody gives a fuck. Very true.
Things that are solely designed to impress other people. Nobody's paying attention when you go on these long monologues. People block it out. They start to daydream. Nobody cares about you.
I've had people like this so there's been like meetings that I've been in, and there's always been people that are like this. And I know that like whenever they start going, I will watch like the call, and the amount of people will be like, just go away. Or just start leaving.
That's the truth.
Like,
Nobody
no,
cares.
no,
But what
please,
they do
please,
care
no, not again.
is how you make them feel.
Yeah,
and also
it's true.
what value do you supply to them.
Yes,
People
exactly.
care about and love people who make themselves feel good. What is actually valuable is the skill of making other people feel smart.
That's right.
Loved, valued, happy. People will love you.
And also to help them. Like if you're smart and you know how to solve somebody's problem, and you can solve the problem, they're gonna like that. They're gonna like that a lot. So, and that's really the issue, is that if you really know what the hell you're talking about with something, you can help somebody and be like, yeah, I actually know a lot about this, I can help you. Do you want me to help you? And they say, yeah, it's like, all right, this is what you gotta do. And a lot of people have like one or two things that they do know a lot about. Now, maybe the one thing you know a lot about is Pokemon, so you don't have a lot of options. But every once in a while, somebody might not know how to make a team for the Elite Four. That's where you come in. That's when you're fucking ready, okay? And you don't need to be that guy for everything, man. And so that's it. Like that's all exactly. Yeah, you don't need to be that guy for everything. You don't have to know everything.
That is what is extremely important. And also, being a valuable asset in general. Yes. If you supply value to people, you give to them in whatever way you can. People
Absolutely.
will love you and value for that. And oddly enough, if you're supplying value to people, they oftentimes view you as intelligent.
Yes.
If you want to be seen as intelligent, just be competent. Just be a person who...
That's exactly it. Yeah. Everybody wants to be around somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. Even if it's a low skill job, like even if you're working at Burger King, the guy that can work at Burger King and then do 3 jobs at the same time, people are gonna be like, damn, that's impressive. Rather than the guy that knows about random fucking arcane history of the Roman Empire, people aren't really going to care about that. I mean, the only people that are going to care about that are other people like him. That's it.
Focuses on and pays attention to other people, what they need, how they feel, and supply also value to them with your actions. That is what you should focus on. Then maybe people will view you as friends. But again, who cares? You shouldn't even be focusing on that anymore. You gotta focus on other people rather than being self-absorbed.
Provide value to this
video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to subscribe and check out
This is a
some
good video.
And as always, I hope you have a good one.
That was a great video. I thought that was great. And I'm going to link you guys the video right here, Remnant 777. Good one. And yeah, there you go. Remember I had that issue about yesterday. I went to museum.
I just realized I'm about to do my Japanese. Good night. Bye bye. Johnny.